For this video, we are going to solve the equation shown here, x squared plus x plus 7 equals 0. On first inspection, always try to solve using factoring. When you look at this equation, you see that it is not factorable. So our next choices are the quadratic formula or completing the square. For this purpose, we are going to use completing the square. We know to complete the square, we need to get the x squared and x terms alone with the constant on the other side. So I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. And I have x squared plus x equals negative 7. Now I've left some space here. I like to put in a blank because I know I'm going to have to add something to both sides. Now I need to determine what I'm going to add to both sides. Well, I take the coefficient of the x term. If it's not shown, it's assumed to be 1. I'm going to multiply that by 1/2, which gives me 1/2, and then I'm going to take that and I'm going to square it, which we know equals 1/4. For factoring purposes, I'm going to put this format on the side with the variables, so I'll have 1/2 squared. And for numeric purposes, I'm going to put the 1/4 on the right-hand side. They are equal to the same thing, so I can use whatever format I want. Now, from here, I'm going to factor as x plus 1/2, the quantity squared. Here I need to combine these two. Well, negative 7 is negative 28/4 plus 1/4 equals negative 27/4. So that's what I have on the right-hand side, negative 27/4. So now I have what I need. I like this side on the left to be a perfect square. So now I can take the square root of both sides and I get x plus 1/2 equals plus or minus the square root of negative 27/4. Let me slide my paper up, maybe. Let me fix that. So now here's what I have. I want to get the x by itself, so I'm going to subtract 1/2 from both sides. And we'll work on this radical in a second. So I get x equals negative 1/2 plus or minus the square root of negative 27/4. So I need to simplify that radical. The square root of 4 is 2, so let's copy down the negative 1/2 plus or minus 2 is now my denominator. The negative inside the square root means I'm going to have an I. We know that 27 is really 3 times 9, and here's what we were looking for. The square root of 9 is 3, so I would have 9 times 3. I can take this 9 and evaluate the square root. And I get 3 square roots of 3 over 2 times I. So I could leave it in this format, or I could rewrite it as x equals negative 1 plus or minus 3 square roots of 3 times I divided by 2. So either of those would be acceptable answers. So that is how to use completing the square to solve a quadratic equation.